Today we celebrate the feast of the holy apostles, Saints Philip and James, son of Alphaeus. The one common trait that the 12 apostles personally picked out by Jesus had was audacity, malalakas ang loob. Think, for instance, of James and John, the sons of Zebedee, how they dared to ask to be seated one at the right and one at the left of Jesus. Or think of Simon, whom Jesus later called Peter, how he dared to interrupt Jesus' conversation with Moses and Elijah at the moment of transfiguration and suggested to build 3 tents for them. Or think of Thomas, the guy who said to his companions, "Let us go and die with him in Jerusalem." Well, Thomas was the same guy who also said, "I will not believe unless I have seen the nail marks in his hands and put my hands in the wound on his side." Kahit yung mga babaeng alagad, they were the bold type. Look at Mary Magdalene, how she dared to go to the tomb early before dawn to anoint the dead body of Jesus. Or think of the 2 sisters, Martha and Mary of Bethany, how Martha even scolded Jesus for allowing his sister to sit at his feet like a disciple to a rabbi. Well, today I propose that nothing beats the boldness or audacity of Philip, the only one among them all who had the goal to say, "Show us the Father, and that will be enough for us." You know, the request of Philip reminds me of the request of Moses when he said to Yahweh, his God, "If you really treat me as your intimate friend, show me your face." Ipakita mo sa akin ang mukha mo. Here, it is like Philip is saying, "You have been telling us about your Father, but we have never seen your Father. He is invisible to us. Why don't you show us the Father's face? And that will be enough for us." Well, it's the request that becomes the occasion for Jesus to make an important disclosure, the important revelation, when Jesus said, "The Father and I are one." Not only is Jesus insinuating that seeing him is already as good as seeing the Father, he goes to the extent of saying that faith in the Son will empower them to do not just the works of the Son, but even greater things than the Son could do. And that anything that they ask of the Father, as long as they asked it in the name of the Son, would be granted. Kaya nga, lahat ng prayers natin, we end them with, "Through Jesus Christ our Lord." Well, today we celebrate 2 of the 12 apostles. And while it is right to call the 12 apostles, because apostol naman talaga sila, it is wrong to restrict the term apostles to the 12. I hope you got that. Yes, it is right to call the 12 apostles, but it is wrong to restrict the term apostles to the 12, because there were more than 12 apostles. Saint Paul himself was not even one of the 12, but we call him an apostle. Saint Mary Magdalene, she's not even a man, but she is called the apostle to the apostles. In our first reading, Saint Paul is making a distinction between the 12 and the apostles. Although he affirms that the resurrected Christ had indeed appeared to the 12, he points out that the Lord had appeared to many others too, and that he had also sent them out to participate in his mission. The disclosure being made by Jesus to Philip in today's gospel is also expressing this very clearly. He says, "The words that I speak to you, I do not speak on my own. The Father who dwells in me is doing his works." Because the Father dwells in the Son, the Father could speak and act through the Son. And because the Son dwells in his disciples, the Son could also now speak and act through his disciples who become apostles, meaning representatives. And it goes for every disciple. All of us are called not just to become disciples, but to become apostles. That is why we call the church one, holy, Catholic, and apostolic church. Even if you call the bishops the successors of the apostles, ang trabaho namin bilang apostol ay alagaan ang community of disciples so that we all grow into a community of apostles, that we follow Jesus precisely so that we could all be sent to represent him, to speak and to act in his name, and to participate in his mission of redemption.